All right, we'll get started. We'll turn some time over to Carl to announce our events and some things like that. So, Carl. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm Chad, WE7OMG, for those of you who may not know me. Come up and say hi. There's new people here tonight.
No,
so.
You just gave Carl's call sign. Yeah.
Oh, did I? WE7CB. I'm reading it. I'm reading it on the screen. WE7CB. And now over to OMG.
CB, you know, that's his initials. You know that?
That's why he can't remember it.
He's a real CB fan.
I own one.
Oh, no. Already. Oh, no, we're not going to do that yet. Okay. Thanks everybody for being here. We don't have quite the crowd that we normally have, but I know why. It's the State of the Union, right? And so a lot of us gave up our comedy hour, State of the Union comedy hour, for a club meeting. So you're all to be commended. In the spirit of that, and this is off the hip, in the spirit of that, we're going to have the State of the Club tonight. How about that? I talked to Noji about this earlier, and I said we should put this in the bylaws, and I'm going to get him to put it up for a vote maybe next month. So every March, we get the State of the Club. Because I think that's kind of interesting for us maybe that don't know about it to know what's happening in the background. Would you agree?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Just like the government, right?
Yeah.
So,
Only it works.
yeah, we like to be a little transparent. Isn't that the word they usually use? We like to be a little transparent. So we're going to be a little transparent tonight. So this is no comedic value. This is the real deal. But, and like I say, it was my idea, and I pushed Noji into this. He said, I can't be there. Would you do it? I said, I'd be happy to. My name's not Biden. My name's not Trump. Just WE7OMG Carl. But anyway, moving on. He said to me, first of all, we don't give out the bank balance. Okay? Just so you know, we're not trillions in debt or even hundreds in debt, but we're not giving out the bank balance, okay? So just so you know that. But he said, we're happy to give out a financial report at any time if somebody really wants to see it, okay? So, having said that, we are a Utah corporation and licensed 501c3 nonprofit. So for those of you who like to donate or donate through other ways, like we used to do it with Amazon, now we do it with, hey, I'm here already, okay? Like to donate maybe through Smith's or some of those other back ways to donate. We are a 501c, and we can be accessed and added to that donation path, okay? So just so you know.
Just along with that, if you can donate to charities through work, we qualify for that. So if your job has a charity program, we are eligible.
So what's the official name of the charity?
Utah Valley Amateur Radio Club, UVARC, Utah Valley Amateur Radio Club. So, if you know that and you want to make you find a path to donate, we are a nonprofit that can be you can write off. So, you got whatever you want to donate. If you got a I don't know, I hate to even say anything, but if you want to donate a radio or a generator or something to the club, they might repurpose or make a profit on or make money on or something like that or sell for you. There's ways to do that with through Noji. So just so you know, we are also a 509A2 licensed charity. So we're not exactly poor, but they still call us a charity. We also have a Utah County business license and an Orem City business license. So just so you know, you're in a legal territory here all the way around. All you can see that by our affiliation with Orem City, who supports us, and they need to be thanked on a regular basis. And Heath has been a great supporter of us, and this club has been in existence for almost 8 years now. Trevor was asking me, that 3 or 4 years? It seems time has flied fast. Anyway, we have 1,050 official ARRL members in this club.
Wow. How many?
1,050. 1,050.
Are you, it's not ARR.
It says official ARRL members, 1,050.
That's the number in our participants.
That's a participation? Okay. Well, that's just what he sent me. That could be wrong because I saw those figures too. So, okay, so maybe that's official club members that have registered with a license with the club, 1,050. Actually, it's up to 1,051 as one came on since Noji sent me this earlier today. We also have 2,311 Facebook followers on the Utah Valley Amateur Radio Club Facebook group, which is a lot of followers from, I mean, literally all over the world. And 2,311. If you pull up that site on Facebook, it'll say 2.3K, but we just looked up the official number is 2,311 right now. So we got quite a few people that follow us from all around the world. Some of them just follow us to catch the archived information from club meetings like this, for the newsletter, and some of them are transplants to some other places that used to live here. They're trying to keep track of us and things like that. So there's a lot, and there's people that have made inquiries from other places saying, how do you guys do so well as a club where we don't charge dues, where we excel at field days, and we have accumulated repeaters and everything else, and maintain, and you have such a, what, how many pages in the newsletter last? 40-something pages in the newsletter, socked full of information for people. How do you do that? And so they've been trying to model other clubs after this one, just so you know. And I've seen the inquiries myself. So.
We'll have to clone Noji.
Huh?
They'll have to clone Noji.
Yeah. Oh, if we ever lose that guy, we're in Dutch. Okay. Also, our 2023 revenue was $9,044.64. Our 2023 expenses were $2,638.52, and for a net gain of $6,406.12, and that's just for last year. Now, having said that, money out of those coffers gets approved through the board and through the existing presidency, and everything gets approved, and Noji puts that out for everybody before he writes a check for anything. So just so you know, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. That money is spent as prudently as possible. Our property, we have some property, including 5 repeaters. A lot of us use them. The 7.6 is one of them. That belongs to UVARC, not us, although we use it a lot. We have the trailer. The trailer is bought and paid for. We only paid $150 for that trailer. How many years we've been using that? 8 years, about 7 years, something like that. But it is finally fully licensed, legal, and has the vanity plate for K7 UVA. So we do have the trailer, and as long as it's got wheels, and we can transfer that vanity plate to the next trailer. We also have a lot of odds and ends that Noji has purchased and accumulated for purposes of field day, for field day signage. He pays for the website and office supplies, and of course, there hasn't been a month that's gone by in how many years that we haven't had a drawing at this meeting. So, having said all that, I missed one other thing. YouTube followers. We have almost 396 YouTube followers that follow this YouTube video that Trevor makes every month, one way or another. So we have almost 400 subscribers to our YouTube channel. So the numbers are kind of impressive, I think. I don't know what other club numbers are. I don't know, but they seem kind of impressive to me. So that is the state of our club, and we should be dang proud of it. And thank you for showing up for club meetings. Joe, we don't take questions in this.
No, you forgot. We are the 2-time in a row Summer Field Day champion in the state of Utah.
Okay, we're,
You need to say-
okay. I'm glad.
You need to say the state of our club is great.
Well, yes, the state of our club is great with one exception. No. Who never shows up for field day or
Just wow.
the extra that's never been on HF. Okay.
Whoa. I have 2 been on HF.
Okay. Anyway, but we should be proud of the club and thank you everybody for those who contribute, those who find ways to contribute, and those who participate. Participation is half the things that go on with potlucks and field day and lunch bunches and everything else, and all the support we get all the way around. We should be commended, and I see why other clubs want to emulate us, so we should be proud of ourselves. Okay, that was off the cuff. I did have a few stats in front of me, but that was off the cuff. Lunch bunch, brick oven in Provo, Saturday wait a minute, that's this week.
That's this week.
March 9th, 1 o'clock, brick oven. So come and join us and rub shoulders with those who participate. And some of those that participate are people that can't get to the club meetings for one reason or another. So anyway, what else we got here? I wasn't there I missed the net last night. I was at the Jazz meeting. My wife said she was going to go on a date without me if I didn't go to the Jazz game with her last night. And
I would like to make note that I was at the club meeting last night. I am a true 7-6er.
Okay, yeah. I was supposed to be net control, and Jeremy covered for me, so I appreciate it. Anyway, he announced this, I'm sure, it's Saturday, June 1st, 10 a.m. to 2 at Highland Glen Park. 7-6ers provide the chicken. We always have raffles, give away radios and other things, and have a good time. And it's potluck otherwise. People bring their favorite dishes or whatever they want to add to the potluck. Everybody always gets fed, and somehow I always go home with chicken. For as much as I give away, we always go home with chicken. So anyway, it's always a lot of fun. Highland Glen Park, which is right, that little park that's right below Lone Peak High School down there. Do I have anything else? Oh, yes, of course. Be sure and put it on your calendar. Don't let any lame family reunion get in the way of joining us for the 7-6 barbecue. Michelle, one more thing. One more thing. We won't sing happy birthday, but it's Michelle's birthday today, I hear. And I just want to acknowledge she's up here to give the rest of our activity announcements. But happy birthday, Michelle.
I'm a murder him.
It's on Facebook.
Can I watch?
Before, like I said anything.
It's been nice
You've been
knowing
trying to tell Brent all night.
It doesn't matter. You're married to her. It's your fault.
It is his fault. It's always his fault. Okay, Summerfield Day. Where are we? June 22nd through the 23rd, Trout Creek near Strawberry. Same location as last time. We are doing hamburgers and hot dogs. Joe is actually going to be up there a week before?
A little bit over a week.
A little bit over a week, so
13th, I think. The Thursday the week before.
So if you want to bring your trailers up Monday before field day, or during that week before field day, he's going to be up there to watch the trailers to save the spot for us. So because we've had other people come up and bring their trailers, drop them off, and then jet out and then come back up, and yeah. Ham Radio Fair Thursday, July 18th at Pheasant Brook Farm. We get together and do another event out there at Pheasant Brook Park. So guys, come out to Field Day. It is one of the funnest events we've got, and then we'll do the Ham Radio Fair after that. Serve us. Karen?
You forgot something about field day. The potluck.
Oh, no, I mentioned we were doing hamburgers and hot dogs.
But it's a potluck.
Yeah, it's a potluck, guys. We'll get when we get closer, I'll announce what we're doing with that.
Hey, can I throw one more thing in there? Just for the mill, is usually here on things like this. The The swap meet, they moved it from the end of February to March.
March 30th?
Yeah, end of
So,
March.
yeah, so there will be the Utah VHF Society swap meet at Davis Fairgrounds. I think it's March 30th, and it's an all-morning thing, basically.
You done, Carl?
Yeah, so.
No, you're good. No, you're good. Hi, for those of you that don't know who I am Karen Alarcon, KG7 UUR. I am the secretary for UVARC, but I also wear another hat, and I am the emergency coordinator with for our UCARES group here in Utah County. So we are amping up because it's our busy season starting. So if you go onto our website, and yes, those of you that are UCARES members and that have been on our website, we've had some glitches, but it has been fixed, I've been told. So it should be up and operating, and you shouldn't have problems with it. But our sign-up sheets for like the 4th of July parades and those activities that are coming up this summer are starting to open up for sign-ups. One thing I wanted to do with UCARES, we do have requirements. You don't have to do the requirements. You can just become a member of UCARES. If you decide to work on your levels of service, that's great. It just helps you prepare to be ready for in case of an emergency. But as we do these service requirements, we hand out certificates to members that complete them. And so sometimes our members are here and are part of this group, and sometimes we catch them in the UCARES meeting. But I have a couple of certificates here that we've been holding on, so I wanted to see if we had these members here. Is Stephen Boyd here by chance? Stephen has finished his level 1 certification with us. Richard Reynolds. Richard has finished his level 1 and level 2 certifications with us. I know Kent's here because I saw him standing and talking over in the corner. Kent Flowers. Come on down. You get to join the spotlight with me.
You get to be on YouTube tonight.
Kent has finished his level 3 certification with UCARES. So here's your pretty certificate.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And then the last one I have is for James Olson. Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing you guys out in the events this summer, and let's have a great year. And who's up next? I will turn it over to Sean.
Sean's turn. Mr. Sean.
A personal note. All right, I get to announce the new hams and upgrades for this month. You can tell that there is quite a few new hams. I do know the Eagle Mountain test the other day, Saturday, they had something like 27 new hams on that. It was a lot, so we're really excited about that. So if we can give them all a hand. Okay, and I'm not sure if it's, yep, there's some more, yay. Okay, do we have any of our new hams here today? Yay. Stand up, yay. We'll put you on the spot real quick. Do you remember your call sign?
Yep, it's, well, I can cheat there. I'm the third one from the bottom.
Okay, third from the bottom.
KK7ROH.
Good.
John Carmen, KK7RIO.
All right, there was another one.
And I'm Daryl Yardley, and I am KK7RIK.
All right, and one more.
If they put the slide back, I'll remember mine. Sergio Martinez, KK7, RKC.
Yay. Congratulations. And upgrades, I know some of the upgrades are not listed from Eagle Mountain, but we have one extra listed here. And again, congratulations. Any of our other upgrades here or from Eagle Mountain?
KK7 at KBQ.
And what did you?
Minutes or an extra?
Congratulations. Yep, it'll probably show up on next month's because Noji, you know, types this up ahead of time. But congratulations to everybody. All right, our presentation.
Well, good evening. I'm Jeri Brummett, and I'm one of the ARRL Utah Assistant Section Managers, and my responsibility is I'm your state government liaison. So I'm the one that goes to the legislature and other folks and tries to make nice and things like that. And so I will apologize for being a little punchy tonight because I have just gotten back from a 1-month vacation. I left the 1st of February, and I've been in Australia, New Zealand, and all through the South Pacific. Then I flew home from Hawaii on the red eye to run the Republican convention in Salt Lake, or caucus in Salt Lake County for a big area, and then didn't get to bed until 4 in the morning and slept most of yesterday. And so I'm suffering from re-entry. So hopefully I will not embarrass myself too much with you. I do want to make a call out on the HamCom Zion, which was not on your upcoming events, which will be the weekend of July 15th in St. George. Now, people in Utah go, oh my gosh, you're going to hold something in St. George in July? It is going to be at the Zion Center, and it is, Dixie Conference Center. It is a beautiful venue that is fully air-conditioned. And to explain to you why July in St. George and why you want to be there is because the rest of the world doesn't understand that you don't go to the desert in the heat of the summer. Everybody around the country wants to come to Zion, and we're inviting them to Zion, and they are coming. I can announce tonight that ICOM will be there, and I don't mean be there like they are at a lot of regional ham fests where there's a table with some ICOM bumper stickers on it. ICOM will be there. They will be presenting. Yesu has said they will be there, but they haven't signed on the line. Lots of other people will be there. Gordon West will be there. Other people will be there. This is going to be a very large ham fest. For those of you that are of the YL persuasion, we are also hosting the every 4-year National YLRL Convention will be with us, as will the Ham RVers, and I cannot remember what their actual name is, that are coming. RVRN is coming, and they're holding their meeting, their summer meeting at HamCom Zion. You do not want to miss this. It is going to be an amazing event. What are the dates again? So again, I'm doing re-entry. I know it's around the Ides of July, so the 13th. Yeah, and the YLRL convention is going to go 2 days in addition. And if you are a YL, you really should take a look at YLRL. It's an organization going back to 1938 and had such wonderful people in it as, oh my God, I just lost her name. Our very favorite movie star woman who has the, thank you, Hedy Lamarr. Like I say, I'm doing re-entry, so I will apologize for that. So why am I here in front of you all tonight? And it's because in the last year, I have gotten calls from UVARC members. And the first one was from a gentleman who had gone to his city and pulled permits and worked with the planning and zoning people and put up the tower that he always wanted with a whole lot of his retirement funds that he had convinced his wife really needed to be spent on a lovely, lovely antenna system that we would all love to have. Did everything right. And then, with his antenna up, he got a please tear it down letter from the city because his antenna, a couple of the elements went over the sidewalk by about 12 to 14 inches. He called me after he got the please tear it down note, which was not good. In January, I think it was January, it may have been December, but I got a call from NOGI and an email from an official at Spanish Fork and some individuals from the club here because Spanish Fork just placed some zoning restrictions on the erection of ham radio antennas. I'll tell you that that the ordinance may or may not be legal in Utah, but at this point, the only way to fight it will be to either go to court and pay the fees to go to court, or to try and get the legislature to overrule it, and I'll talk about those options. But they called me, I don't know, about 3 weeks after this thing was already law. And so I was talking with NOGI and some of the other club members about this situation and what to do and how to prevent you from getting shocked again. And so this is kind of the presentation about how to put one hand in your back pocket when dealing with politics and political officials and the planning and zoning people and the other people who go bump in the night with tax bills and other things like that. So, the scary topic I'm not going to cover tonight, because I know ham radio operators, including my good friend Mr. Cowan, do not like to talk about politics. They're disgusting of the stench and foulness of politics. And even though I do politics, I do use a scrub brush, Hibicleans and things like that after spending any time in the political arena because it's kind of nasty and foul. But I am going to talk to you about advocacy as an amateur radio operator. And it's really important that we advocate for our hobby and its importance. And there's lots of ways to do that, and I'm not asking you to put a tremendous amount of time or effort or thought or anything into this. But if you don't, and if you're not willing to engage with your neighbors, engage with some of the leaders in your community, if you're not willing to inform and educate people about amateur radio, we are going to lose and have lost a lot in amateur radio. Amateur radio, you know, people go, you still do that? And you guys know what I'm talking about. We're aging out, all of those sorts of things. And we do not have the political and community power that we used to have. And so I'd like you to help me and your fellow ham radio operators deal with this. And it's not that hard. Hopefully you guys really do have 1,200 ARRL members. If not, consider it. But one of the 5 pillars of the ARRL, and I'm not going to get into the whole thing about the league and whether, all the politics there, whatever, are great, but is doing advocacy. And the league does advocacy on a national level with the FCC and with the federal government, but really locally in state and local government, it is up to us in our communities. There's a lot of things available through the league to help you do that and stuff like that, but it really is down to us because there's really no way that Newington and the folks in Washington, D.C. can know what's going on in the Spanish Fork City Council or Planning and Zoning meeting. So, part of my graphic didn't show up, clearly. So I apologize for that. For folks who have heard me speak on any topic, and I talk on cybersecurity and a lot of other things in amateur radio, and you know, I'm an engineer by training. Most of you are, whether you're an engineer by degree or you're an engineer because you're an amateur radio operator. And we have a structured approach to how we respond to, think about, and deal with problems. And so whatever topic I'm talking about, I tend to talk about this structured approach. Before I retired the last time, I did some teaching at a university, and my students get tired of seeing my little diagram of the engineering mindset and approach, and people who hear me talk at club meetings are really tired of my little diagram, and apparently so tired that PowerPoint killed it. So the concept really is, though, is that we try to understand the problem and define it. And then we take our knowledge and noodle up solutions or possible solutions and apply those cost-effective solutions. And then we take a look at the outcome and repeat the process until we have the issue resolved. And that's how most of you, I believe, think. And that is not the way that politicians and lots of other folks think. And so part of what I want you to understand is what our problems are right now. And the problem is that, well, it's our appearance. You know, it's sort of like losing your job at the Walmart on the count of your appearance. That might be, wow. You know, everybody thinks we're old people, and we are. And, you know, even when I was in college, long time ago, almost, oh my God, almost half a century, you know, I was not interested. I had to take an antenna theory class. And I was going, why in the heck would I ever want this World War II technology? I'm into bits and bytes and digital stuff. You know, and of course, now I'm an extra who didn't take their antenna theory class as seriously as I could have, and I regret that periodically, particularly when I'm trying to maximize points or something else like that. But we really are viewed as people who, do we still do that? And we have to fix that piece, and there's been a whole lot of discussion of that in the ARRL literature and club meetings. How do you get young people involved? How do we let the world know about us? I'll talk a little bit about it, but we're not unfamiliar with this part of the problem. The other problem is complacency. And this goes in the larger political world. Joe and Susie Lunchbucket in the politics world are really pretty happy because they're not worried about politics except when it gets really close to election day and who might be president. They don't know who their school board leader is, even though that probably affects them more every day. They don't know who any of these people are because life's not that bad. When life gets really tough, Joe and Susie Lunchbucket look up and they get mad, and then we have big political change in the country. And bad things happen to us. And just because nobody's gotten into your ham radio options recently, because maybe you're not into, you know, the very high, well, I shouldn't say very high frequencies, we're all VHF people, but into the microwave spectrum and other things like that, where we have lost a tremendous amount of spectrum in the past little while. We've had an issue come up in the legislature where we almost lost the ability to have an amateur radio license plate or to use a handheld radio or hold a mic while driving. Now, we won that one a few years ago, but the people sponsoring it had no idea that it would apply to amateur radio operators, or for that matter, tow truck drivers, the UP Railroad, a lot of other people that might need mobile radio. And so we were able to fix that one. We were able to save the plate, not because we had any power, but because a whole bunch of other people with power, basically BYU and University of Utah fans, who wanted their special plate not to be killed, saved it for us because we didn't have the political might to save our own amateur radio plate. And again, the people in Spanish Fork that I've talked about, the people here in the greater county that was told he couldn't rotate his tower and needed to tear it down. And so the part you can't read in there is politics is a dirty business. But if you do not do politics, politics will be done to you. And I love that quote because it really happens. The legislature just went to bed for this session last week, and you have yet to feel the 500 bills that they have passed, but you will. So if we understand our problem of perception, it's not what we know as engineers, and it's not even who we know, but who knows us. And that's very, very important. And so some of the things like our ARRL Utah County emergency, you are our emergency section, emergency coordinator, sorry. There's so many titles of people doing great work in amateur radio. You know, the fact that UCARES is out in the community, that Orem City knows who you are and understands something about ham radio is really, really important. And leveraging that becomes really important for keeping our ability to do the hobby that we want to do and the things that we want to do. So again, engineers think of ourselves as problem solvers. And again, my pretty diagram is gone. But it's really important that we use a systematic approach to solve our problem. And really, there's a really simple solution. And I'm going to call it the Utah Political QSO Party, right? We're all into QSO. And, you know, the other thing I'm going to say is monitor the political bands. Okay, you need to take a little bit of look at the waterfall of government going on in your life. Because if you don't, and if you don't watch government a little bit, government is going to do it unto you. And the way most people get into politics in any way, shape, or form is they come home one day and somebody's bulldozed half their neighborhood and putting in a skunk works. And they go, how did this happen? Why didn't I know about it? Well, because you weren't within 150 feet of the property line. You were 200 feet away or 300 feet away. And so they show up to a meeting and they get mad and they get involved. But I'm not asking you guys to go to every meeting and stay up all night counting caucus ballots to find out whether Haley or Trump was going to be the, Utah's favorite child. And all of those sort of things where you might need to take a shower and wash off the stench of politics. But I'm going to talk about what I mean by monitoring political bands the same way most of us don't have a huge waterfall in every bedroom and our bathroom and everywhere else going on so we can find everywhere there might be somebody we want to make a QSO with, right? But we do. We monitor the bands. We know what the band conditions are. So we know whether we should get up tonight to try and make that contact or maybe early in the morning, or what? And, what band is going to be active now, those sorts of things. And then, we figure out when the QSO parties should be and what we need to do to take advantage of them. And I'm going to ask you to do basically that same thing. And the most important part of it is eyeball QSOs like we're having here. And so if I could have everything I want from you all tonight, and everything I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to tell you my call to action early, because you're not supposed to do that to the end of your presentation. But I want your club to designate someone to be their local government liaison. And I'll talk a little bit about what their role is. And then I want you all to follow your city and county agendas. Now, your local government liaison would be the person who helps coordinate that, and then in each of your cities or the county and all of the political subdivisions that might matter to you, have someone who says, okay, I can go to their website once a week and look at the 3 agendas or the 4 agendas that that city might have and see if there's anything on there that looks like it might go bump in the night for ham radio. Now, one of the side benefits of that is you're going to find that there's other things that you do because we all have lives beyond ham radio that might go bump in the night that you'll find out about. And a lot of times you don't even have to go to their website. You can get on their email list and they'll send you an email. And so you just run down the list, just like reading the email from, your favorite shopping place or your favorite news feed or whatever else you do. Take a quick look at it. And, I read probably 100 of them a day all over the country because I'm very involved in politics. And if I spend 10 minutes, it's a long day on doing this. So this is not going to take a lot of time, and you don't have to have everybody doing it, but you need one person from your club in each jurisdiction working with a local government liaison, just so there's lots of eyes and it doesn't take much time to know what's going on. And that's what I mean by the bands. And just report it up to your local government liaison. And if there's an item of interest, you need to let the local government liaison know about it, and probably me. Because there's a window of opportunity, and that is why the ordinance or the hearing or whatever else is being decided upon. By the way, if you're going to go before a Board of Adjustment or your local planning commission on putting up a tower or something like that, for God's sakes, let us know. Don't tell us after the hearing, I can't help you. You've got to reach out before. You have a window of opportunity. And it's a one-way knot that is, once it's tied, it is incredibly difficult to untie. So what happened in Spanish Fork is they put some hoops you're going to have to jump through if you want to put up any kind of serious antenna. And that's now law, at least in Spanish Fork's domain. Now, there is a Utah law that says basically you can't really screw with ham radio, which we got passed a long, long time ago. But it doesn't have a lot of teeth in it. It means well. And so it's up to some interpretation. So the folks of you who live in Spanish Fork and may want to stuff up whatever kind of antenna you have on your property, or a tower or whatever, well, your option is to sue the city. And the one thing about fighting City Hall is you're going to find out they have more resources than you do. They got lawyers on staff. And lawyers are expensive. And oh, by the way, it doesn't matter whether you're right. It takes time to go to court. And you may lose anyway. So it's a really awful process. Now, your other choice is to come to me and say, oh, let's go to the legislature, can't we get this overruled? We live in a state where our state legislature loves to gripe about federal overreach, telling the state what to do. But our legislature loves telling little cities and counties what they can do, particularly in planning and zoning. Some people, you'll hear in some of the more, I'll call them liberal community newspapers and things, that the LDS Church runs politics in Utah. They don't. It's the car dealers and the realtors. And if you don't know that, you really don't know what's going on. And of the two, it's the realtors. Why do you think we moved the prison, spent a bunch of $1 billion, and now it's understaffed and we're getting sued in the state because we have inmates being bit by mosquitoes? It's because that land is developable, right? So this is inside baseball and politics. And so our opportunity is when the bill or the ordinance or even the hearing on your tower is still before the decision bodies. Once it's done, it's really, really hard to undo. And oh, by the way, there's a lot more people who hate our antennas than love them. So if we go to the legislature, we might end up with something worse, or we might end up with it everywhere. And so those people suffering in St. George could share their misery with all of us. So again, fight it up front, and that requires you to know about it. So I'm going to ask you guys to do something that, and I put it in this order. You need to know who's running for your city, county, school board, and legislature district. Everybody probably knows who won the Utah primaries for president. And we spend a lot of time worrying about who the next president's going to be. But I'm going to tell you, your school board has more to do with your ham radio hobby, or your city council does, than the President of the United States ever will. And by the way, everything else. Your local school district here spends almost $3 million a day, 365 days a year. And nobody shows up to a school board meeting while they do this, by the way, in the first 12 or 13 seconds of the meeting, unless some football coach is in trouble or their kid is getting an award or something like that. These people really affect your life, these local races, these county, city, and the upcoming state races for our legislature. And so find out who's running. Go to the party websites. And we're in Utah County, where the Utah Democrat is truly an endangered species. In fact, up in Salt Lake, we maintain the avenues as a wildlife sanctuary for the Utah Democrat, lest they, are fully extinct. I mean, I think there's, 4 or 5 Democrats in Utah County, and you guys know where they live. Anyway, but look on both sides of the aisle. Look at those, go to your county party website, both sides of the aisle. Find out who these people are that are in your district. Go to your county clerk's office and make sure you know what district you're in. Know who your mayor is and your city council person. Know who's on your planning and zoning board. This is all on your city website. Write down those names and any contact information you have for them. Chances are they live in your neighborhood. They are your neighbors. Get their picture. And when you're at the grocery store and you see one of these people, say hello. Have an eyeball QSO. Senator Bramble, it's so nice to see you. Thank you for all your service. I'm Jeri Brummett. By the way, I'm a ham radio operator. Do you know anything about ham radio? We should get together and talk about that. And he said, oh, I'd love to. He doesn't really want to. But by the third time you say hi to him at a gas station, or when he's walking his dog, you say, oh, by the way, I just live around the corner from you. I'm the guy with the antenna. Right? He's going to know your face. Pretty quick, he's going to know your name. One of the key things in running for public office is you have to be able to remember names. He's going to be able to put names with your face, which means he knows you. And if he knows you and doesn't hate you because you did not come up and spit in his face or anything else like that, he loves you. It's that simple. This is politics, honest to God. And if he knows you, then you're his friend. And the more he knows you, and if you can get a minute to talk to him about something cool you're doing, invite him to ham radio events. May not come, probably won't. but he might show up. Then when you call him and say, hey, there's this bill in the legislature, some idiot from Davis County wants to do something, all of a sudden you have credibility. Because they're used to getting calls saying, you yahoo, if you do this, I won't vote for you. That's most of their phone calls. But the people they know, and if they know you're in radio, and particularly if you're doing something of value. So if you're up in Logan, or actually Tooele in the next few months, ham radio operators are going to do a space station pass with some kids with the Tooele School District. And one of the things they need to do is they need to tell their U.S. Senator, their congressman, they need to talk, and they need the ones that have that relationship and say, hey, you know, you see them say, hey, we just had some 12-year-olds talking to the space station. It was really cool. You know, now it's going, oh, this person's somebody doing something in the community. And again, you're going to have credibility. This doesn't take you any time. You do this with everybody in your ward or your parish. You do this with people at the gym already. You do it on the radio all day long. This is real life. Just say hi. Know who these people are. And by the way, the more important one is your council member, your mayor, your fire chief. Because if these people know you, by the way, if there's a fire at your house and the fire chief knows you, this is a good thing. I got to know the 911 dispatch people when I was working for the mayor of Ogden, and 4 years after I left Ogden, I got a call at home because my mother had put a bunch of pans in her oven with little towels between them and forgot about it because she was getting old, turned on the oven. And the fire department came. I got a 911 call to me, saying somebody's just been dispatched to your mother's house for a fire. Now, it turned out to just be a smoky oven, but these things bear fruit for you. And it's really called being active in your community. And it's what we do as amateur radio operators anyway. So I want you to do this. Next year, there will be municipal elections. And again, for all of you, particularly on the planning and zoning issues that have bit you all down here in Utah County, these are the people who appoint people to the Planning and Zoning Board, and these are the people who can overrule them. And you could even get yourself appointed to the Board of Adjustment or the Planning and Zoning Commission, which is like I say, a little more involvement, but now you have the nose of the camel under the tent, and we own this place as amateur radio operators. It doesn't take much time, and you don't have to do a lot. And all I'm asking each and every one of you to do is know who's representing you. And you should do that anyway. You learned that in civics. We're old people. We still had civics back then. We vote, right? Know who you're voting for up front. That's all I'm asking you to do. Where do I go? Well, I can go to a place called Ballotpedia and look it up, or I can go to the websites for each of the political parties, and they'll show you their candidates. It's very easy to do. This is on Ballotpedia. You can see who's running, you know, or who's representing you and who's running and blah, blah, blah. Okay? So on legislative issues, you got to know who to contact, and they need to know you. Same thing with local issues, okay? And by the way, this is how we get serious about MCOM too. If we want to be taken seriously, you have to have a relationship with your elected sheriff. Not just his radio person. The sheriff has to like you and have to like ham radio people. Even better, get them a license and get them involved. Okay? This is how, you know, your police chief, your fire chief, these are folks that you can interest in this stuff, and it will make a difference. And we need advocates. And so, again, I'm asking you guys to find someone, and if there's somebody here that's interested, you know, come see me. By the way, I have a whole bunch of ARRL, or my business card says ARRL. You should grab one if you need to get with me. But if you'll just do that, and if you'll just spend literally a few minutes a week And you can do it while trying to make contacts, particularly if you're like FT8 or whatever, just open another window over there, do your political stuff you need to do while making FT8 contacts. It won't take any time. If you're up night waiting for the band to open, we all get on early, right? So you can listen to the radio, you use the SDR, and do this stuff. It won't take any time, but it will make a huge difference in your community. So with that, yeah, this is what I do to people. Oh, I lost another slide. There's another slide that said questions. But any questions, anything I can answer for you? Carl.
Thanks, Jeri. I'm going to say a 4-letter word here and see what we can do about it, because it doesn't fit in the parameters of what you were talking about, but HOA.
Oh, HOAs, exactly.
Yeah.
So HOAs are really a big issue.
I don't have one, but yeah.
Well, but it's a really big issue. So let's talk about a couple of things. And again, I'm part of your Section ARRL field team. And we actually have our field team fully laid out for the first time in, the last 3 years. We've really filled it out, and we have all the positions filled and with really brilliant people. I'm kind of the weak link in the chain, but HOAs are a huge issue, across the country, and a little bit like state government. The reason the legislature can get involved in school districts and in planning and zoning and cities and things like that is because all of those districts are political subdivisions of the state. Technically, under our Constitution, the state and the federal government are co-sovereigns. The federal government keeps overreaching, and then the states keep wanting to rebel. I don't know that that's healthy or not healthy, but I'm a pro-Constitution person, so I'll live with it. What does that have to do with HOAs? They are not a political subdivision of the state. So the ARRL has been trying to pass a bill through Congress for, the last 15 years?
At least.
At least. And they put out articles about it and how they've made progress. So they actually got it to the floor before the last House election cycle, because the person put it up on the floor knowing that Congress was going to go into recess and it would never get a vote or anything else, but it sure made ARRL happy, and it might have got them a couple of ham radio votes back home. And it didn't get us anywhere, because as soon as the Congress died, so did the bill. So it had to be reintroduced, and it's languishing where it is. And there's no way that a federal solution is going to deal with the Karens that form the HOA background or backbone of this great country, county, state, whatever division, trailer park you live in. And there are various types of Karens there, and a group of Karens is called an HOA. And if anybody's named Karen and a decent person, I'll apologize in advance. But, so an HOA, technically you're a member. And so the way to resolve your HOA problems is get on the HOA board.
Jeri, can I add something to that?
Yeah.
I actually live in a recently developed community out in Vineyard, and I actually went up to my HOA board and said, hey, I'm an amateur radio operator. By the way, it's a 55 plus community, which I happen to be the youngest member of, and I hold that with a badge of honor. But I happen to, I told them—
Gosh, you look young.
Thank you. I just said, hey, I happen to be a ham radio operator, and we happen to do a lot of emergency preparedness work. There's a lot of people in our community who are very vulnerable. How would you guys feel about having an emergency plan? And the HOA has just eaten that up.
And that is the key thing, because once you get on the board, what did I tell you to do? Advocate, educate, right? You don't come in and say, I want to put up a 125-foot tower with not only a tri-beam on that thing, but I want a 160, Yagi up there. And by God, with my antenna farm, I can knock out the sun, right? Don't lead with that, okay?
Can I just add?
Yeah,
Granted, I'm not.
lead with what you're talking about.
I'm still not allowed to put up an antenna, but it's leading down the right course to where, hey, I may be able to eventually not only put an antenna up on my roof, but I may be able to convince them to let me put up an antenna on our clubhouse.
And more importantly, make everybody pay for it.
Yeah, and actually.
If you have, think about this. If you've put up a tower, you know, you go, hey, I got this tower and I got it for $150 at a swap meet. And I took it home and then I realized, oh my God, to get it upright without putting an antenna on it yet, you know, I'm talking grands, not, you know, single grands, not double grands, but lots of money. And so by getting an emergency plan, bringing these people along, doing a STEM event, if you're not in a 55+ community, for the kids, do a balloon launch. Set up your radios in the common area and do some satellite work. When you're waving your satellite antenna around like this, they're gonna ask questions. And all of a sudden, you're gonna be the cool person in the neighborhood. Having nothing to do, and this is HOA, having nothing to do with amateur radio, one day I got a knock on the door. And I'm not LDS, by the way, if you haven't figured that out already, but I live in a very LDS neighborhood. And so I got a knock on the door from some of the Relief Society ladies. And they said, our girls want to have a Girl Scout troop, and we have to have another leader, and you have Jeeps and teepees. And I said, an amateur radio and motorcycles. That's how you get people interested in what you do. And it's amazing how none of my neighbors are upset about my Harleys at 3 a.m. in the morning when I'm taking off to go to Las Vegas to have breakfast and come back the same day. You know, and they don't mind my antennas. In fact, they'll come help me because I don't climb like I used to. And it's by advocating and teaching and creating these relationships. And so the HOA problem is just another level of government. And you've got to know who's on your HOA. And you've got to convince them that you are the person to come to, because you want them coming to you when there's a big windstorm, or like this little blizzard we had that blew over my a flagpole while I was in the South Pacific. If you know who these people are, they'll come help you. They'll decide they're worried about emergencies, and they're going to say, oh, Jeff or Jeri or Carl, they're the person in our neighborhood who knows about this stuff. It isn't the ward emergency person, because, you know, I hang with the bishop in my neighborhood and other things, and, you know, I know about the conversations. Who are we going to stick with this, right? Right? Somebody's got to fill in. You got to fill in the chart. Same thing in my church. I'm a minister. I have to fill in my chart and get all my people. And you don't necessarily get the most competent person, because the competent person says, I'm not competent and I don't want the job. Or I've had it for 10 years and I can't do it anymore. But if you're that person they go to, then you have power in your HOA, and that's exactly what I'm asking you to do. You all know what's going on in your church community. You know all the gossip and everything else. I'm asking you to do the same thing at the government, at your HOA, and then feed it up to people like me so that we can work on it before it's a done deal. And that's really all you all have to do to stay out of the problems, because I hate it when you call me and I have to say, oh my gosh, it sucks to be you. Because I can't do anything. And just because you call me doesn't mean I can. You know, I was only here for the first 2 weeks of the legislative session. I lost on every bill that I cared about. The legislature, you know, spent a lot of time on a lot of topics that were, message bills, but they didn't fix the homeless problem or do anything to do it. And they didn't do anything about the fact they want my car fit for the Utah highways, but the Utah highways aren't fit for my car, or any of the other real problems we have. But, literally, I did keep us from losing the ability to pick up a microphone. And remember, we're engineers, so I had all these engineers say to me, the microphone's not a wireless device. My radio's built into my car because I built it in. Didn't matter. Holding a microphone under the law would have been against the law. And we got that fixed. And, we saved the license plate. Ted will tell you, I told the ARRL leadership, I said, we're going to lose this one. But luckily, a whole bunch of boosters from University of Utah, I realize, and it was mainly the U boosters, though the BYU boosters were in there advocating too, helped us keep the license plate. And again, having those friends are what we need to do. So thank you for your time. I hope this was useful. Yes, go ahead.
I have an I have a ham plate on my van, my wife, and I just got it about a month and a half ago, and I understand now they're going to drop the front plate in the state.
Well, they're dropping the front plate, but there's a possibility that it will not actually be dropped.
Oh.
And so a lot of people don't put it on, and most cops don't pull you over for it unless the city needs money. You think I'm kidding? I worked for the mayor of Ogden, and he came to me and he said, I'm sending you up to see the dog catcher because we need more money. And the dog catcher told me, we only know about 7 to 10% of the dogs in Ogden because we have about 4 to 5% that we know buy dog licenses, and we pick up the rest on the street, arrest them, take them into the shelter, and people come bail them out. And so, I don't know. Engineering problem. How do you solve this? Well, who knows where the dogs are? The cops and the meter readers, the water meter readers. So we built a little application, and they could, anytime there was a dog at a house, they could punch the button where they were, and it'd go look it up. And if we didn't have a dog license on that dog, we'd send somebody over there, and the cop got $5 if we found a dog that wasn't licensed. But they didn't care. They hit it for every dog. And we made $800,000 in 1 year. So, yeah. Just on enforcing the law. You can't believe how much they can make off of license plate stickers and front license plates. So that's one reason that it may not go. The other reason is Lyft and Uber. Because without a front plate, as the person is pulling up to the curb to pick you up, you can't figure out whether it's your Uber or your Lyft. You got to walk around behind, and people don't back in to pick you up. And so there's a lot of community who uses that. Now, if no one goes to the legislature up front and says to your local senators and House members, have you ever tried to ride Uber without a front license plate? And they'll go, oh, I never thought of that. So you have to bring things to their attention. And so lots of issues. The legislature deals with lots of things. As bad as our legislature is, okay, as bad as they are, and as bad as your city council are, Utah is one of the best run states in the country. And I just spent time all over the South Pacific, in New Zealand and Australia for over a month, and I will tell you, our justice system, our government system, everything is as messed up as it can possibly be, but it sure beats the heck out of everybody else. And so I'm going to be your civics teacher and say, get involved. Any other questions? It's been a huge pleasure to be here. My cards are there if anybody needs them or wants them, and I'll hang around and talk to anybody till the cows go home.
So before Brent comes up, I just want to give Jeri another round of applause. That was awesome. I wasn't too sure how much I was going to enjoy that one, but I really did. So thank you. And if you've got more questions, come up and talk to Jeri. I'm sure you'll be up at the swap meet.
Oh, I'll be around.
Yeah, be around. We see Jeri all over the place. So come up and talk. And
I will be at the Zion Ham Fest.
yeah, so make sure you take advantage of that. Okay, and thanks. Over to Brent. Anybody?
Alrighty. Once again, my voice kind of carries. So if I can get away without using a mic, I will. But if you guys can't hear me in the back, just let me know and I'll go ahead and be more than happy to use a microphone. But our door prizes tonight, first of all, we've been... Okay, so yeah, we've been doing things a little bit differently, and I really like the way things are going. We don't have any main door prizes. We're just going to do all the door prizes at once. And if you're called out, pick out whatever door prize you want, including the Pucker Stray Pole. But tonight, we've got ham radio hat that says 7-3, a child correctional device, or as I like to, or it's also a Baofeng antenna, a two-way handheld transceiver, Baofeng, club light, survival food disguised as peanut M&Ms, McDonald's gift card, and a folding utility knife, and of course the Pucker Stray Pole. So without further ado, once again, just as a reminder, when you come up to get your door prize, make sure Joe can get your picture with it. 613. 613.
Are you just reading the last few?
Yeah, the last three digits on your ticket. 613. Is that me?
Might be.
There's no way. Is there?
Right here.
Oh.
It is you.
Ha, that is me.
I think it's Rick.
Do I redo it?
No, you're
Screw, I'm taking the gift card.
Hold it up here, hold it up.
There we go.
Yes. You're not taking my lunch this week. Okay. 607. 607. No, I'm redoing that one.
You're taking the antenna, aren't you?
Well, I got about 6 orders to fill. Maybe that would be a good. No, we can always repurpose a radio.
Yeah, that's getting.
I got a picture of you too, don't I?
Sounds like a door prize for a barbecue.
Come back. Come see us at the 7-6 barbecue.
Okay.
You might get a program.
I'm sorry, guys. We're running really short on time here, so I'm just going to kind of go through this quickly. 600. 600. Ah, one of our newbies.
So what would you pick?
So just
So-
know if you take the J pole,
You'll want that.
no G
You will want that.
Put it up for you.
Yeah, okay.
If you're new, take the J-pole.
Yep.
Yep. take J.
That's what you want.
That's a VHF UHF antenna.
Unless you live in an HOA that won't allow it.
No, I don't put that in.
Make sure you let Joe get your picture with that.
Flag on it. It's the USA flag on it.
That's a good idea.
Okay, next one. 628. 628. All right, I'm going to go through these kind of quickly, guys, because we're actually out of time. 631. 631.
The M&Ms look really useful, organized.
574. Wait. 574. 5. Ha! You still get my lunch, sucker.
You got the hat, the light, and the knife.
Oh, I could actually use this.
All right, we have 2 prizes left: the hat and the club light. 625. 625. All right.
Wow, Kent makes a double appearance up here today.
Oh, we better do the hat.
All right, so the club light is going to 6 602. 602 in the back. All right, congratulations to all of our door prize winners.
All right.
There you go. Make sure you can get your picture.
We're going to do our normal post-meeting QSO over at Fat Daddy's Pizza. Noji did verify that they're going to stay open late for us, so just across the street over there by Smith's. Hopefully we'll see you there. It's a really good place, good pizza. And that's it, so thanks everybody for coming.